I know you've asked yourself at some point, did I just make that up? Or was it my intuition? Well, that's what we're going to talk about inside of this episode. Stay tuned. Welcome to Spiritual and Ambitious. I'm your host, Whitney McNeil. I'm a certified medium and spiritual teacher, and I help spiritual and ambitious souls just like you live your life purpose through your career and attract abundance by connecting into your intuition and spirit guides. Let's get spiritual and ambitious. So I have a special intuition boot camp coming up. You can go over to messengerspirits.com/bootcamp to sign up or join the waitlist. I cannot wait for this. I'm not going to reveal too many details right now, but I'm really excited. So messengerspirits.com/bootcamp for all the details. And I'll be telling you a little bit more about it later on. But let's go ahead and get into how to know if it's your intuition or if your mind made it up. Oh my goodness, this is a big one. And the way I like to break this down is by intuitive language. I'm going to give you some techniques to help you know if it was your mind or not. But right off the bat, I'm going to tell you that one of the number one ways to know if it's your mind or something that was real from spirit is clearing your mind. You've got to clear your mind. This is why I talk about it so much inside of my programs. If your mind is completely clear, you're literally creating a superhighway for spirit to come through. If you are not clearing your mind, how are your spirit guides actually going to give you a message? Right? I want you to think about, you have this force field around you, which is your mind. Your thoughts, your emotions are all outside of your body. And so if your mind, your thoughts, emotions are all outside of your body and an intuitive message is trying to come through, it's going to come through what you're feeling, what you're thinking, and you are going to question it because there's no rhyme or reason. And you can't really identify the energetic signature of your intuitive message. So you have to clear the mind. So if you could just take a moment and imagine that you have your aura around you or your mind around you. So you could just pick a color. And then I'd like for you to imagine that it splits in the middle and half of it moves to the right and half of it moves to the left. That highway, that split, the part that now has no color is where your intuitive messages come in. And this is what I teach people to do inside of my program so you can clear your mind and let it come in so that you're not thinking about it. So clearing your mind is the most important way. But before we really get into different intuitive languages, I have to say consistency. The more you're consistent, the more you develop your intuition, and the more that you receive messages from your guides and dedicate time to talk to them every single day, the more confidence and the more you will recognize the intuitive messages. So consistency is important. And one of the other things I want to share is raising your vibration and increasing your sensitivity. So you have a body, an etheric body, and then you have other bodies. You have mental, emotional, spiritual bodies. Your sensitivity receptors are on your etheric body. And when you work with a spirit guide to increase your sensitivity, then you are going to be in a higher raised vibration. It's going to be an easier match for your intuitive messages to come through. Your spirit guides are higher vibrational than you. You are on the earth plane. If you can raise your vibration, it's easier to kind of meet in the middle. So those are three components. But I definitely want to talk about some techniques today through your intuitive language. So let's talk about the seer. If you feel that you're a seer and you see spirit, so this could be, I literally saw spirit, or I saw a flash of light out of the corner of my eye, or when I meditate, I see colors, I see faces, I see numbers, I see names, I see words, that kind of thing. Well, it can be a little tricky because when you receive messages, you are receiving messages through the same channel where you receive your imagination. This is the same channel that if I told you to close your eyes and picture a purple flower, you would receive the messages. But here is a way to indicate if it is intuitive versus if it is something your mind made up. If you are imagining it and it is a thought, you're going to see that purple flower. You're going to see the purple flower. It's going to be there. It's just going to stay in your mind. If you are receiving it from spirit, it's going to come in and leave. It's going to perhaps be really quick or really faint. And the more that you flex your intuitive muscle, the more that you start to build your sensitivity, you will start to see that flower become more prominent. But that's an indication if it's really quick and faint. I have had so many experiences of teaching mediumship. I remember one example where somebody was giving a message about their uncle's car. A Lincoln came in, like a black Lincoln car, just left really quickly. The student said, no, that's not it, because it just left so quick. And then their mind kind of made up a car so that they could see the detail. And once we started to work together, he understood, wait a minute, no, it was the black Lincoln, darn it. All right. And the client was like, yeah, I had a black Lincoln. So it comes in really quick. I want you to remember, spirit's really quick, comes in really fast. We are heavier, they are lighter. All right. If you are an owl, so the owl hears through clairvoyance, meaning if you receive messages like somebody told you what to do, and it could sound like someone else's voice, or it can sound like your inner reading voice, then you would be clairaudient. And there's a way to know if this is intuitive most of the time, or if this is a thought that your mind made up. Stay with me, and I will tell you that, plus the other intuitive languages, some techniques to help you right after this quick break. I am so excited to offer the Messenger of Spirit Oracle cards. They are my favorite deck, of course, because I channeled them from Spirit, and I've been waiting for so long to really find a deck that really spoke to me. But years ago, I felt it was time to create my own deck, and they are finally here in real life. I love them. It's 52 cards. And when I used to do readings, I really wanted a deck that had everything this does. What I've done is, over my years of experience of doing readings as a professional medium, I've taken a lot of the common messages that Spirit has given me, and I've put them into the cards. These cards contain symbols that I've seen from Spirit, and those symbols will have different meaning when you look at them and you read them from your intuitive language. I also have short descriptions on the cards to help you, and I have numbers too. Numerology has meaning. Inside of the book, you'll find a longer explanation, a short to the point explanation, and a line suggested crystal and affirmation to use with your messages. You can go to messengerspirit.com/cards to learn more. All right, we're back, and we're talking about how to know if it's your intuition versus something your mind made up. With the owl, you're hearing messages from Spirit. Most of the time, it's going to sound like your inner reading voice. It is not going to sound like God is speaking to you down from the clouds with a thunderbolt. It will sound like your own inner reading voice, which causes so many people to question if they are really indeed getting intuitive messages or if they have made this stuff up. So knowing something can be really helpful. Ready for this, what this something is? Here it is. When you're talking to yourself, you are going to talk to yourself. And you can understand to feel the words are thought out, and it takes a long time to finish the sentence. When Spirit talks to you, it comes in so fast, sometimes your brain can't process it. Or let's say that you're asking a question to your spirit guides. You will receive the answer before you've even asked the question. This has been so powerful to know this tip. I remember I was asking a question, what is my blah, 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 blah. This is pretty much what came in. I know that it was a bunch of words and it just happened really fast. It sounded like my own inner reading voice, but a little bit higher. And it just gave me all this download of information. remember, when you're doing these techniques, it's really important for you to clear your mind every time you talk to your guides. But that's one little hot tip I can share with you. Now, what about the empath? The empath generally gets messages through clairsentience. So feeling in their gut, feeling emotions, and also you can feel messages on your skin. It can be the right side means hot, or somebody's tapping my shoulder, or something like that. So if you're an empath, it can be a struggle to figure out, is this my own thought or is this somebody else's, meaning your spirit guides? So what you can do is clear your mind, but surround yourself in this aura of protection. So if you're an empath, what I'd like for you to do is move to a place where no one else is there. Just get some alone time. I'd love for you to clear your energy as best as you can. Wrap yourself in this bubble of light and then clear your mind and do a quick check-in. How am I feeling right now? And if you feel like you're a blank slate, that's perfect. Then when you get the messages from spirit, when you're asking the message and it's received, you know that whatever comes through is not your own. It is coming in from spirit. So do a self-check. Now, if you're saying, well, Whitney, I can't get to a place where I'm alone and it's going to take too long for me to clear my energy, then just take a few moments and do a self-check. You can do a visual meditation to release the energy coming from the top of your head all the way out through your feet. So a white light meditation. You can just feel everything draining into Mother Earth, allowing for Earth to transmute and transform the energy that's there so that it returns to love and light. And this can happen in a matter of seconds. It sounds like it's going to take a long time because I'm being very descriptive, but it can just take a few seconds. When you feel a blank slate, ask your question, receive the message of yes or no. If you are a channeler receives messages through claircognizance, which is really interesting. So channelers just react based off of whatever's coming into them. So their body is intuitive. Their body can just decide, I'm tired, I don't want to go anywhere, or yay, I'm full of energy and zest. Usually, if you've asked a question and your spirit guides give you an answer, it's a yes, absolutely, or a I'm tired, I need to take a nap, or I just can't get myself going today. But it doesn't necessarily just come in from your body, even though it's always a reaction. You're reacting through writing an email, or I'm feeling inspired, I need to research this thing that just popped into my head. And what I just said there is popped into my head is a knowing. So a lot of times channelers just have a knowing, but they don't really know where that knowing came from. They can't really backtrack it. And one example that I've used so many times, and it's just been so impactful, is when my mom and my family were interviewing to adopt some dogs that had a wait list a mile long. My mom just started buying toys. And I said, what are you doing? Like, you don't know that we actually are going to adopt these dogs. And she's like, oh, they're my dogs. So it's like, I don't know where it came from. I just know. And I'm reacting. I'm going to the store and I'm buying the things, even though nobody has told me yet that this is going to happen. So a knowing really, really happens. So one of the things channelers can do to really help determine if it's an intuitive message or something that their mind made up is to actually be in movement. Yeah, it sounds weird. Go out on a walk. Allow yourself to move freely, dance a little bit. So let's say that you're getting ready to talk to your spirit guides and you need a message. Well, take a few moments and dance. Move your arms or body, run in place, do some jumping jacks, whatever that is. And then sit down, get a piece of paper or type on your computer and just start typing the first words that are coming out. I know that sounds a little different than some of the others, but this clears the energy so that they're not feeling, oh, I'm so bored, or I've got all these ideas. I need to start like Googling them and looking them up. This is, hey, I'm getting it all out of my body real quick. I'm sitting down, I'm clearing my mind, and then I'm just going to write whatever the first things are coming through for me. So channelers oftentimes need to expend their energy before they will really trust that they're getting an intuitive message. So it's a little different the way it's coming in for them. Also with channelers, it's great to do a quick body check. Hey, am I tired right now? Hey, am I full of energy right now? Well, if you have a yes on either one of those, it's probably not the best time to actually try to get your intuitive messages because your body reacts. And if your body's already tired, this can be really confusing. Well, was this intuitive or is it because I'm already tired? Or if you're full of energy, it can be really hard to clear your mind because you've got all these things going. And it can be a little deceiving. Well, did I just react to that because I'm already full of energy? Or did I react to that because that's an actual response from my intuition that's coming through? So that's the backstory of why I'm telling you this technique. All right, that's it for now. And I'm so happy to see you inside of this intuitive boot camp, intuition boot camp. Go to messengerspirit.com/bootcamp for more details or join the waiting list. And I will see you next week for the next episode. But until then, here's to staying spiritual and ambitious. Thanks so much for listening to this episode. And if you loved it, would you please share it with a friend? I would also love your review and a reminder to subscribe so you never miss an episode. You can find me at messengerspirit.com, and you can take the 4 Intuitive Languages quiz and find show notes there too. If you want to connect on YouTube, Facebook, or Instagram, you can find me at Messenger of Spirit. If you want to continue the conversation, join my free Facebook group at messengerofspirit.com/group. I'll meet you right here next week. Here's to staying spiritual and ambitious.
This podcast is part of the Sound Advice FM network. Sound Advice FM. Women's voices amplified.